you tuned in, you are just out of this world excited because you're in for this crazy episode. The red circle here today.
Crazy episode.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. We're talking about personality types.
Yes.
I don't know if that's crazy.
No.
It may not be that crazy.
It's interesting.
But it's interesting. Yeah, so you get to know us, and then we're going to talk about what the heck we're going to talk about for the rest of this whole podcast, YouTube show, whatever we're going to call this thing. We just made it up. And I'm sure you're excited about watching this made-up show.
I feel like that's what podcast and YouTube is. It's just people just doing random stuff.
I just wanted people to kind of be able to get inside of our crazy brains, because I think a lot of people don't have the conversations that I have all the time. Like when I have them with people, I always get that like dead stare, like,
yeah.
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah. I
did say that because I've thought about it and I've thought it all the way through and I'm correct. At least I think I'm correct.
And I am right.
Like I don't know, that's just how I think. Like most people, like I think I say it because, so maybe this is the weird thing that I do is I'll go to people and I'll say that and I'll get the reaction, and then most people will defend why I'm wrong, and then I'll dismantle that if I can, or it may just fall on the wayside, and then maybe I don't think that anymore. Yeah, and I'm fine with that. So. But after like 15 people, I feel like I'm right. You know what I mean? After I've taken it to 15 people and they were like, they don't have nothing. You know, they bring up the same one that everybody else brings up. That, you know, like movies and music and, you know, society has kind of ingrained in them to think this way. And I'm like, I don't think you should think that way because this. And they're like, I've never heard that before. What is this thought? And they don't know how to deal with it. And then it kind of builds off of that. So I'm like, oh, I got a brick, and then I put it there. You know what I mean? And then I can just build these different trains of thoughts, and then if people can't dismantle them, you know. But every now and then you'll meet somebody and it'll make you think.
Oh yeah.
You ever had that happen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where you just meet people and they're like coming out of another angle, and you're like, whoa, I hadn't thought about that. And like, maybe I shouldn't think that way. And then you kind of go back and reformulate. I
think that's the beauty of conversation. And I think we're losing that a lot nowadays with social media, with cancel culture. Like, you can't have a bad idea because if you do, you get canceled. Yeah. You should be able to have conversations. And a lot of times it's like a mix of this and that, and then comes together for like a stronger idea.
I think people are just too easily offended.
So offended.
And I think it's because, I hate to say it, but I think it's because most people have been raised by their moms. And there's no strong male in the family, which kind of brings this other sense of self-value. Like even to my girls and my boy, like, so to go back to like, we're like way off topic, but go back to like Moses's time, not Moses, but Abraham, that and Jacob and these guys, and there was a certain time in their life where they would go to their father, and their father would put their hand on them and bless them and speak over their life. Yeah, right. It was like a ceremony. I want to do that, actually, to be honest with you. I want to recreate that, and I do it somewhat to my kids purposely, and I'll go to them and I'll be like Addie, and Addie's very sensitive, so I'll speak over her heart, and I'll speak over her, and I'll be like, it's like, you are beautiful and gorgeous and this, and I'm speaking over her purposely with the authority that God gave me as the father to speak over them. Yeah. And you see it also in Jesus's life. It's very interesting. Most people never caught this. So Jesus goes to the River Jordan. He meets John the Baptist. John the Baptist is baptizing people. He sees Jesus and he's like, oh, there's the person that I told you about, in whose sandals I'm not worthy to untie, right? So then Jesus goes in there and he's like, hey, baptize me. And he's like, I can't, I'm not supposed to. And he's like, do it. You know? So John the Baptist baptizes Jesus, right? But I say all that to say this part. So when he gets baptized, then you see the Trinity. the Holy Spirit fell, right? Everybody else that was getting baptized before, it would fall and then it would leave. But in Jesus, it fell and it remained, right? And then you hear from the clouds the Father, and the Father spoke over Jesus. And he says, he's like, behold my Son in whom I'm well pleased. Right?
Yeah.
I think he says, my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased. In a sense, saying, like what every boy wants to hear from their dad.
Yeah.
He's the apple of my eye. This is my son, and I cherish him. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of him.
Yeah.
And I think every kid wants that from their father. I'm not saying they don't want it from their mother.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference.
It does. The relationship's different, and it really does. Yeah.
Like you want to please your father.
Yeah.
Right?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Your experience, even as a female, it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between like the unconditional love of a mother and the father's love is very different. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't really define the difference, but it is. It's tangible.
Yeah.
We all know it.
It is.
We all have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Right? We all have daddy issues, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And because of the breakup of the family and the loss of all of that structure, and we just throw it away, you know, like loosely, thinking that it's not going to affect anything, and then society's just going to hell in a handbasket, and nobody's like, I don't know why it's going on, you know. It's the Democrats, the Republicans, it's this, it's that, and I'm like, you just destroyed the family unit, which has been in existence since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You know, and women are like, I don't need men. Men are like, I don't need women. And we're like, maybe we should rethink this path that we're going down to destruction before we just throw it out. Okay. Squirrel. So
it was a good squirrel though.
Yeah.
It's an important topic.
But we're gonna look up. She got her Myers-Briggs.
I did it.
I don't know if you found it or you had to read.
So part of my personality, I don't read instructions. I don't read directions. So I did all the tests, and then I was like, where are my results? And it didn't show it to me because there's like 12 pages of explaining your results. And I was like, click, 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 click. I give up. So I had to get to the bottom of the 12 pages. And I got there.
And then it gives you
then it gave me my results, yeah.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
Like, only Jake would read all this.
No, literally, yes, he
Jake
would.
and Jared, right?
Yes.
So her husband's name is Jake.
Yes.
Jacob. And my son's name is Jared. It was funny, we were at Gavin this weekend in Cloudcroft, and I just massacred him in a board game. and then I went outside to smoke a cigar, and I came back in, and both of them were like this,
reading the instructions.
And I said, because I'm very unpolite, as I said, I was like, yeah, look at you guys. You have to study the rule book to win. I've never read a rule book in my life.
That's
you know?
so funny.
And they were like, and then they destroyed me in the next one.
Yeah, they did. They got you.
They got me back.
Yeah. I walked up from the bottom story, and Jake's just like vigorously reading this. I'm like, what are you guys already played. Like, why are you reading it?
He's like highlighting, taking notes. He has another piece of paper. He's like, what's this piece of paper?
Yeah. No, he reads instructions on everything. Like a macaroni box. We've made macaroni so many times, but he'll read it. He's like, you're doing it wrong. I'm like, it tastes the same.
Yeah, no, I don't like to read instructions. I feel like it's more work.
Yeah. I could figure it out.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't. Have you ever built IKEA furniture?
Yes.
And did you succeed?
My whole office is IKEA furniture.
But did you do it?
Yes, okay. I did it, and I didn't do all of it, but I hired most of it.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
I did probably 20% of it.
Okay.
But I hired 2 people to do it, but I figured out a couple of them myself, and it was... Luckily, there's pictures.
There are pictures, and that helps.
I can follow pictures.
Yeah.
I think I'm like Egyptian or something. Everything.
You need hieroglyphics. That makes sense.
Okay, let's see your results. Let me see what you got.
All right.
Tell me what you got.
What you really got.
And then I'll kind of go through mine. I have mine here on the thing. Oh. And you actually did the legit one.
I did. Okay. I paid $50 for it.
Okay, so she got an ENFJ.
For the Myers-Briggs.
That's interesting. Test. So it's very similar. The extrovert, I'm extroverted, and then the intuition.
That's the N.
That's the N, which is kind of weird, but it's because there's another N. So, okay, so there's intuition, and then there's introversion, which is the opposite of extroversion. Mm-hmm. So we're both extrovert. Mm-hmm. I wasn't surprised about that. Yeah. You have the N, which is intuitive, and that's where they had to switch it to an N because it would be two I's. Mm-hmm. So it was not two N's, two I's. Okay. And so the N, it says taking in information by seeing patterns in the big picture with a focus on future possibilities. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty interesting. So
I do really like the future.
Yeah. It's not the forest. Yeah. So we see the forest, not the tree. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of that's the same struggle I have. Is I'm like with my head in the clouds. You know, like my teachers used to tell me, like, what are you doing? You know, and why aren't you paying attention? Because this is boring. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to learn about conjugated vowels. Like, I don't give a crap about conjugated vowels or a period and a comma and a semicolon. I don't care where they go at all. You know, it's like the instructions. Yeah. It's like, just give me a table built. Like, how much for you to build it?
It's funny to hear you say that because that's how I am too. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know where commas go. Like, I could.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
I don't want to focus my energy. Yeah. I just feel like there's better things to do with life. And luckily we were born in this generation. Yeah. Because if we were born like 50 years ago, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So there's a good book I read. It's called A Whole New Mind. And it's about that the last 50, 100 years were controlled by the real meticulous, dutiful, dot the I's, cross the T's people. Yeah. But the next generation is going to be controlled by the creative types. Yeah. And the creative types, the reason there's going to be controlled is because they won't be able to outsource it to India or to the Philippines or to China. Because creativity, you just can't outsource. You just can't. You can't translate creativity to a cultural thing. Mm-hmm. So what it was talking about was like art or music or graphic design. And this book was written before like videographers was a thing. Oh, wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. Photographers were like, it's like, who knew a photographer, right? Yeah. And now we know like a million photographers. Yeah. Like I never like thought of like photography as a profession. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe if you were like in Africa taking pictures of like gorillas or something. You know what I mean? Like not as like walking on the street and this, oh, look at this angle and the light. No, like never. When I was a kid, it was like you get a degree, you get a job, you know what I mean? Like it was never about like this idea of creativity, but you can see it merging. Definitely. Like building NFTs and long story short is like the creative types are going to be the next generation because everything is going to become computerized. Mm-hmm. That can be computerized, which is the skill set of that other personality, is that they can regurgitate information. Yeah. And then things that need to be like kind of like robotically created is going to be outsourced to other countries. So these people are going to more and more lose their jobs over time. And the only ones that are going to survive are going to be the creatives.
So I could see that totally.
Right? Does it make sense, right? Yeah. It's kind of nuts to think about. Because like my wife, she's in education, right? And I always tell her, I was like, college is stupid. School is stupid right now. And she's like, Mom, what do you mean? And I was like, we could go and record 2 years of lessons at every like elite college, like Yale, Princeton, Harvard, whatever these big
schools.
Yeah. and then put it on YouTube, and then why go spend millions of dollars to go to Harvard?
Yeah.
You know, why you could give that education to, you know, somebody in Juarez making $2 an hour. You know what I mean? And they could go to Harvard.
College is such a scam. Like, there are certain things that you need to go to college for to learn, but most of it you don't need. Like, I didn't want to go to college. I always knew I wanted to be entrepreneurial. And I graduated high school. I told my mom, my plan, I'm going to work at a couple of places because I don't know what business I want to start. Maybe a restaurant. I want to work at a restaurant. I wanted to work at a bank and another place I forget. And she was like, no, you're going to be a failure. You have to go to college.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. And after I heard that, I was so confident in like my ability. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure it out. And then she was like, you're not going to succeed. And I was like, well, I got to go to college then. And I studied accounting with management and entrepreneurial concentration type of situation. Have never used my degree, still owe money on my degree, and it was a waste of time. And pretty much everybody I know, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer, like, they don't use their degrees.
Yeah.
Education's important, like learning how to read and things like that, but like higher education, it's just like, it's a scam.
Two things that colleges do that people don't realize. Number one is you take your SAT or your ACT, right? And those are pretty much IQ tests. So if you have a really high IQ, you go to the higher colleges, and so when people graduate from those colleges, they know they have a high IQ. And that's 90% of why people hire people from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, whatever.
Because they're smart.
Because they're smart. And IQ is really kind of like your processor for the computer. So a processor for computer is just how fast you can get to data in your brain, right? So the faster your processor, the faster it's not RAM, it's not memory. It's just your processor is faster, right? So the faster your processor is, the faster everything else will work. So first thing that you get when you go to college is the reason that people hire people from these elite colleges is because they have higher IQ. And you can't hire somebody and make them take an IQ test. It's illegal. So the only way for them to know if you're super high IQ is if you went to these colleges, which is kind of a backwards way of doing the same thing. Second thing is, in colleges like those, the elite colleges, it's not really about what you're learning in the school.
It's who you're meeting.
It's who you're meeting.
Yeah.
It's your network.
Totally.
So this network ability to be in these things. So, you know, it's backroom deals, and my dad goes to, you know, is on the board or whatever, and he can get you into school. Like George Bush, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all knew George Bush had like not a real high IQ.
Yeah.
Right. Like the guy said, he's like, so what are you gonna use in against Iraq in Desert Storm? He's like, strategery. You know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, you know, myself, but strategery. Like, you made up a word.
You just made up a word, sir.
You made up a word. So, okay. So the ENFJ, so the two, I'll tell you what mine is. So EN is me and you are the same. So I'm extroverted, intuition. So the opposite of extrovert is introvert. The opposite of intuition is sensing, which is taking information through the five senses with the focus on the here and now. So more present. So one is more future driven, like the forest, and one is more the tree. So Jacob would probably be more the tree.
Yes, he is.
Right? So he would be more the tree. So it's like, let me look at the details. Let me read every line of this. Like, I've had this thing here since like 3 weeks. And I haven't read any of it. I just looked at the major highlights.
The pictures.
And then I was like, oh, that's all I need.
me.
I get it. And then I watched, 8 hours of YouTube video. and I just searched it, and I was like, and then it's great because I feel like I'm Neo in YouTube, right?
Oh, downloading.
I just plug in for the things like, I know Kung Fu. You know? That's how the YouTube is like it's made for me and you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily, I can listen to it passively and then just grab the little things that I do.
Yeah.
You know, and I could be doing something else at the same time.
I can't do things at the same time.
No?
No. Like I can, but I'm doing both of the things not well. So like kind of how you said you can like listen to something and then listen to it. I'll miss both of the things. But Jacob does. He'll be working and listening or watching. I can't.
Yeah, that's interesting. If I really need to focus, then I'll put on like Baroque music or like Beethoven and drive my wife mad. Oh, no. She says it gives her anxiety.
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I give her anxiety.
No.
Okay, so your next one is feeling. So the F is feeling. So feeling says making decisions mostly on the basis of value and subjective, people-centered and concerned. So you're more people-oriented, feeling, caring about how people feel, all that jazz. You know, politeness. This is your politeness.
Yes.
Right? And then mine is thinking, so making decisions mostly based on logic and objective analysis. So it's more just like, what's the facts?
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the one that I took is it gave me like a range. So my thinking was all the way extreme. So there was no feeling in mine.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
It's just harsh. I'm like a robot. And then the last one is you were judging. So the J's judging, which kind of is harsh. Taking a planned and organized approach to life, liking to having things settled. So also this, I think this is kind of, your judging would lend to conscientiousness, right? You can see that correlation to the big five.
Yeah.
And your judging is, you don't necessarily just judge everybody else, you judge yourself as well. So this lends to people that have high judging would also be somewhat neurotic. So you have that same ruler, right?
What's the opposite of judging on that scale?
Perceiving. So I'm perceiving. So taking a flexible, spontaneous approach to life, likes to keep options open. Right? So that's me for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to overthink anything.
Yeah.
You know, like a perfect example is like we're in the cabin and we're like, okay, where are we going? And Zephyr's like, I have this agenda. She has like a spreadsheets with graphs. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, we're gonna eat this appetizer at this restaurant. And I have no idea.
I already looked up the menu.
Where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, like we're going to the cabin. And I'm like, I made the reservation just mainly because I paid for it. And then I was like, okay, where are we going? And she's like, you don't have the address? I was like, it's somewhere in my phone. And she's like, give me your phone, and she sends me my address to my phone in a text message so that I can grab it and just click map and then just go. That's what I'm made for this generation. like God made me for such a time as this.
Yeah.
Right?
He did.
And then we're like, okay, we're going out to eat, and Zephyr's like, I'll send you the address to this restaurant. I was like, nah, I'll just follow Jake. Yeah. Jake's got it figured out. It seems like he knows where he's going.
Yep.
So then I'll just follow him, and then I don't have to use any brain power.
Yeah, you just follow.
You know? And then I can do something else with my energy. You know? I don't know. That's just how I think. So there's the perceiving side. And it's also, they're more spontaneous, but it's funny because I don't see myself as super spontaneous. I guess a little bit.
I think you're a little spontaneous.
Yeah.
With trips, you're spontaneous.
Yeah.
We had talked about how I like to plan. So I'll we always do a snow trip and a summer trip. And so I have 6 months to plan them out.
A snow trip
Yes.
and a summer trip.
Yes.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
A winter trip.
Okay.
But we play in the snow. So we always ski or like we ski. So,
Jake does ski, I think.
does,
he
yeah.
talks about it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't ski.
He's really, I wonder, you're athletic.
Yeah.
You wouldn't fall too much.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I only did it on a snowboard,
Oh.
which made me terrified of skiing.
Well,
ever
yeah,
again.
no, snowboarding is way different.
Yeah, because all I did was, so snowboarding, I say this thing is like, and I stole it from Eddie Izzard, is he's like, there's only two positions in snowboarding. There's cool and death.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like there's almost falling and then there's falling. And that's what, like snowboarding, you're almost falling.
Yeah, and then my calves were so messed up because you just have to go back and forth with this piece of wood.
Yeah.
And that's how you go.
Yeah.
So you're like screwing down, and then you have to turn the other way. So you have to, with your feet, press down the other way, and then turn your board that way. And my calves were just,
Oh my gosh.
like, I wonder how big these people's calves are that snowboard.
Probably
They must
very
have the
strong.
most massive calves.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's get into it a little bit. So, yeah, read at their best. That's
All
really
right.
good. I like that part.
ENFJs are highly attuned to others. I am. Using empathy to quickly understand emotional needs, motivations, and concerns. Their focus is on supporting others and encouraging their growth.
That's good. I can see that.
Yeah. We're friendly. We're persuaders. We can we'll build consciousness among people whose interests and motives are quite diverse. I can see that. We act as catalysts, including everyone and drawing out the best in others. They can be inspiring leaders and loyal followers.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. I think the ENTJs and the ENTPs and the ENFJs all kind of get along. That's kind of like that little triangle of like troublemakers. And I think we kind of get each other because of the intuitive types and the extroverted types, and then we enjoy like having the variety of the rest of it. Like I think the only one that would not really sit well with us is the S. So if somebody was an ENS, an ES, I think it would really bother us. Instead of the intuitive, I think if they were sensing types, they would kind of throw off the mojo.
Yeah.
The S's are kind of, it's so different. It's so dramatically different than other people. And I'm just kind of dabbling through this stuff, guys. I'm not like some certified person or, you know. So the one thing is, I think that the F types are loved by everybody. They're kind of that personality that gets along with everybody, where my type is kind of more, I'll just like push people and then they'll react and I'll see how they react. And sometimes they're like, they get the pushiness of my personality type, and some people will appreciate it, some people it's just too much for them.
Yeah.
You know, so I think from what I've studied is that there generally can't be two of us in one group. You know what's an interesting thing too? Maybe you can look it up, is the percentages. I think it might be in that book. Like check it out on your phone.
Like the percentage of people?
Yeah, so they have the percentages, like if you just Google Myers-Briggs personality percentages, it'll tell you. I always find that fascinating that you can do your certain personalities in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it'll make you like you'll see how many of those personalities are out there. So if you're like a super rare personality, you'll be like, oh wow, that is kind of weird. So I did find this here too in the beginning. So just to kind of give you guys an overview. Okay, extroversion. So people that are extroverts draw to the outside world. So they draw to the outside world. That sounds funny. prefer to communicate by talking. Okay. So
Yes.
we communicate by talking. Like if you ask me to write you an email, like I'm not gonna do.
I even send voice messages rather than text because I don't want to type it out.
Yeah, I hate voice messages because a lot of time I'm on the phone.
Oh.
But that's okay. Work. Yeah, because you can't read it. Like I can read it
Reading
passively,
is so fast.
and then
but I want to say more.
Well, the good thing about a voice message too is you can get the inflection,
Yes.
which you don't get in a text message. You won't misread what it is. So works out ideas by talking through them. This is extroverts. Learns best through doing or discussing. Have broad interests. Okay. Then tend to be sociable and expressive. For sure, that's you. Readily take initiatives in work and relationships.
Yeah.
So the introverts is the opposite. So it's interesting, this book. So you can see here. So it had me write my name with my right hand and then write my name with my left hand.
Why did it have us do that?
So the idea was that to make an extrovert become an introvert is like you trying to write your name with your left hand.
Oh.
It's kind of a creative way to make it. Right? So it's like the fish trying to climb a tree. So to change somebody's personality to make them be you is somewhat like that. And because an introvert looks at the extrovert like, you freaking weirdo. And the extrovert is like, I think we appreciate the introverts more than they appreciate us.
Yeah.
But that's just my theory.
I think that's accurate.
Because I wish I could shut up a little bit more. But I just can't. Can't help myself.
You gotta keep going.
Okay,
That's
so
funny.
Okay, so this is interesting. So the way that they wrote it, so draw to the outside world, that doesn't make sense. But I think what it means is we get energy from outside rather than inward.
Yeah.
Where the introvert draws from inward to get energy. So that's why they can be alone to get energy, where we have to be around people to get energy. Okay, that's weird. Okay, the introvert prefers to communicate in writing. Boring. Introvert works out ideas by reflecting on them. Okay, so they go. That's why when you talk to Jake, right, and you're like blah, 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 all your ideas, and you're just going through them all, and then he's like, okay. And you're like, I want more.
I need more.
And he's like, I need to go like defrag.
Give me 12 hours.
It's funny that the millennials won't even know what a defragging is. Like, remember you used to have to defrag your computer?
No, I'm a millennial.
Oh God. Okay, so defragging a computer, it was crazy. So what it would do is it would take your memory of your computer, and then it would organize it kind of like a trash compactor.
Oh, okay.
And make it into smaller bites. So that you would free up memory in your computer. So your computer would work faster.
Yeah.
So you'd have to defrag your computer like every 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Like, I guess nobody does that anymore.
No.
I'm a little old. Okay. So that's where they work out their ideas by reflecting on them alone, not out loud. Okay.
This is good stuff to know.
It is.
Because I'm like, Jake, let's talk about it. And he's like, can we just not? I'll get back to you when I'm ready. Fine. I'm ready now.
I want to talk. Why don't you avoid me? Why don't you love me? Okay. So learns best by reflection, mental practice. So, okay, whatever that means. Focus in depth on a few interests. Okay, so this is the other thing is extroverts kind of broad, where the introverts are kind of narrow learning. Right? If they're not interested in it, like when you try to tell him about personality types, he's like, I don't care.
Don't care. Yeah.
Don't tell me nothing about it.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, but.
Even at Thanksgiving or Christmas, Jake will just remove himself and go read. I'm like, babe, you're being rude. He's like, I don't care about what you're talking about. I'd rather sit here alone and read.
See, and I can get that though.
Yeah.
Because I feel my wife's gonna hate this.
Oh no.
I wonder if she can hear me. But I feel like that happens a lot to me with like her family. Like I'm there and they're just like, they're like more like the 9-to-5er personality.
Yeah.
And they're like not trying to do anything like amazing. Except for her brother. Me and her brother kind of have this thing where he's like trying to get out of the butter, you know what I mean? Like the little rat in the butter.
Yeah.
You know? And I get, like, we can have those conversations, but then it's like, then I'll go like, okay, what about this? And he's like, nah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, they're just not into that. And my personality thrives on deep, like serious conversations. If I don't get those deep conversations, I feel like it's just nails on a chalkboard. So, like I can relate to him on that regard because, like, if they're just talking about like, you know, Kim Kardashian or something like that, I'd rather go dig a hole in the backyard. Focus in depth on a few things. Okay, tends to be private and contained, where you tell everybody all your problems, all your drama.
I know.
Okay, that's one thing I've learned. So that's the other thing I should say. This is not necessarily who you are. This is your natural tendency if you answered it correctly. Yeah. So like me, I might have natural tendencies, but I've learned that I can't do these things. So your ability to build up a willpower and to force yourself to shut up, you know, to force yourself to not tell everybody all your drama. Like you've known me for a long time, but really, do you know any of my major issues? See?
I can tell when you're going through issues sometimes, but it's hard. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one thing I've learned. You know what I mean? It's like I don't tell nobody none of my stuff because they've used it against me too many times.
Yeah, you learned the hard way on that. Yeah. Yeah. But it's good you learned. And then you
but it's also it's very good to learn that maybe an introvert would be a good confidant rather than an extrovert. Yeah. Even though we'd rather probably talk to ourselves. Like, I'm not going to tell you my drama because he's going to go blab it around. Yeah. Everywhere. But maybe I could go tell Jake. And
he won't even tell me. But I keep secrets, but Jake knows everything. So I'll tell people, be like, you can't tell anybody. I'm like, Jake's going to know. Are you okay with that? And if they're not, I'm like, please don't tell me because he's going to end up knowing. I can't not.
Yeah. You'll let the cat out of the bag.
Yes, I have to tell somebody.
Yeah, it's like a kid's Christmas present.
Yeah. I can't even do Christmas presents. I can, but I can't buy them early because I'll give them. I'm like, Mom, I bought this for you 2 months ago. Just open it now. And then
that's funny.
I can't. I have to wait.
About that.
Yeah.
I don't even care about Christmas
Of course.
I just buy them so I don't get in trouble.
Yes.
So the last one, it says takes initiative selectively when the situation or issue is very important to them. Okay, so he's not going to take initiative on everything. Selectively, he's going to figure out whatever it is. That's interesting. I think Sephra's also introverted. She's probably less introverted than Jake, though. Okay, so sensing is the opposite of intuition. So I'm close to sensing, just I think due to certain things. So oriented to present realities. Okay, whatever that means. Factual and concrete. Okay. Focuses on what is real and actual. Observes and remembers specifics. Builds carefully and thoroughly towards conclusions. Understands ideas and theories through practical application. Trusts experience. Okay. It's kind of funny. It doesn't make sense for it to be called sensing. But I guess, so let me read the top. People who prefer sensing like to take in information that is real and tangible. What they perceive using their 5 senses. Okay, that's what they mean. They pay close attention to what is going on around them and are specially attuned to practical realities. Okay, so it's more of like see like something that they've literally noticed in person through their five senses.
Yeah.
Right? Not something that they've kind of
picked up
like philosophically understood.
Yeah.
Right? So intuitive types are oriented to future possibilities. So that kind of lends to the introvert. So this kind of goes hand in hand. Imaginative, verbally creative, focuses on patterns and meaning in data. Remember specifics when they relate to a pattern. Remember specifics when they relate to a pattern.
I get that. I notice patterns.
Yeah.
Like in behavior or different things like that. Yeah.
That's interesting. So remember specifics when it comes to a pattern. Okay. More quickly to conclusions follows hunches. That's for sure. I conclude with that. I go with my gut a lot more. I trust my gut more than I trust my brain.
Yeah.
I just think like my subconscious mind understands more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that your stomach is called your second brain?
No.
Did you know there's more neural connections in your stomach
Than in your brain.
in your brain?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What are those for? Like, what are they doing?
So think about this. When somebody says, go with your gut,
Yeah.
that's what it means. So it's your subconscious brain, in a sense, is in your gut. And like, you ever been in really emotional pain? Your gut hurts. Almost like your back hurts.
Yeah.
Right? It's weird, right? When you think about it that way. Or when you're like, oh, this doesn't sit well with me, or your stomach tells you. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly. I'm not no scientist. I've taken bits and pieces of it and I've formulated an idea, and I'm fine with it.
And you're good with it.
Yeah, I don't need to know more. But I agree that there's like, once I found out there was more neural connections in your stomach, I was like, okay, I agree.
I agree.
don't need
Second
more
brain.
information.
We're done here.
Yeah, like I like the idea of it. I think it's true.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like maybe more your idea of like your spirit is better connected to there, right? Your spiritual man, like I know a lot of like Eastern religions have like chakras or whatever. But I think I like the idea of neural connections. I like the idea that your gut knows, like, and then even like you could be emotionally upset, and it'll change your hunger. It'll change, like you even want to throw up. You'll have to go to the bathroom, like weird stuff. Like doesn't make sense.
Yeah, with your emotions.
When you think of like your brain.
Yeah.
And then your microbiome will change when you're really stressed out.
Yeah.
Like all those kind of things I think matter. So
totally.
I agree with that. And then this one says, where was I? Oh, trust. Okay. Wants to clarify ideas and theories before putting them into practice. I don't get that one. You get that one? What do you mean? What do you think?
I think, so like right now, you said something, and I'm like, what does that mean? Kind of like gain clarification, get other people's opinions on it, and
like
then gather. Yeah.
We're curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, curiosity. I agree with that. Okay, trust inspiration. Okay, so I can be inspired and trust it? Okay, let's go to the next one. These are where it really gets interesting. The other two I think kind of like meh, but these ones are the really different ones. So thinking, this is me. So analytical, uses cause and effect reasoning, solves problems with logic, strives to be objective, standard of truth. That's the other thing, is that truth reigns for me. So if you come to me with truth, I'll drop what I think immediately. Like if you prove it to me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with taking the correction.
Yeah.
Like I feel like like this, when we first met, and we were talking about some random thing about your life. I don't remember what it was, and I was like, can I tell you something? Like, please. You know what I mean? And I just went there, and we were like, I can't believe this guy just went there. I just met him, right? And it was because I felt like if I could give you this truth, I would like help you so much, because I really think that truth is so important, more important than feelings.
Yeah.
It says strive for an objective standard of truth. So reasonable, I'm pretty reasonable, can be tough-minded, yeah. Fair, wants everybody to be treated equally, yeah. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, so let's go to the feeling side. So empathetic, so one's analytical, the other one's empathetic. So one's more like, I don't care about your facts, your feelings. My feelings, my facts don't care about your feelings, right? So the other side is my feelings don't care about your facts. So 2 is guided by personal and social values. So opposed to cause and effect. So it's like, it's your fault, just deal with it. You know what I mean? And the other one's like, but how does it make them feel, and what is it going to do to society, and mush.
That there was a lot of that type of stuff with the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Like with masking. Like once I realized, like I read articles on the type of masks that work, the type that don't work.
The
on
N95s.
Yeah, N95s filter out virus, but after 45 minutes you have to switch it out because your breath deteriorates it. So I'm not gonna mask because all of this shit doesn't work. And then I had a friend say, well, but like if it makes somebody comfortable, just do it. I'm like, my job is not to make you comfortable. Yeah. And
I think that's also, maybe this is the natural state when you talk about something so much more serious. You'll change your viewpoint, but naturally you would be uncomfortable for somebody's to make somebody feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the politeness back to the 5, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm not polite because I don't care how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
I'm more objective about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Assesses impact of decisions on people. Again, same thing. Striving to understand harmony and positive interaction. So strives for understanding, harmony, and positive reaction. Yeah. So it's like, can we all just get along? And over here, strives for objective standard of truth. It's like, I don't care if you get along. I want truth. The truth should win everybody out. Compassionate, where I'm reasonable, not compassionate. Like, I'd rather it be like, how would you say it? Like balanced. You know what I mean? Fair. Fair is another word I would use. May appear tender-hearted and may appear tough-minded. So tender-hearted, like sweet, or like nobody will ever come to me and be like, "Oh, you're so sweet, nice." Like, I doubt I'll ever hear that. But it's funny because when I was a kid, that's how I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't like this. I think life turned me into this. And then fair wants everyone to be treated as an individual. And so yours says wants everyone to be treated as an individual, and wants everyone to be treated equally. I guess there's more to that. Okay, let's move on because we're going to run out of time. Okay, so judging. You're judging. Stop judging. Why are we going to be judging me? Because I believe in science. Okay, so you're scheduled, organize their lives, systematic, methodical, make short and long-term plans, like to have things decided beforehand, and tries to avoid last-minute stresses. So let me ask you, how soon on this trip did you pack?
Normally, I start packing like a week in advance.
Oh my God.
Like I'll open up the suitcase and once I had kids, because you can forget everything and you need all of it,
Oh, there was so much stuff that Zephyr brought that we didn't even think about.
I'll do that too. Yeah. But I'll open up the suitcase, and if it comes to my mind, like we're going to the beach and I need beach toys. Okay, thought about beach toys, just throw them in the suitcase. And then I'll organize it later. But as I go, there's just too many things to forget. And then there's stores. Jake's always like, we could just go to Walmart if we forget it. It's not a big deal. But I'm like, no, I got to remember all the things. It's normally a week in advance. But this trip, Hours before we left.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We were still
You're
doing
just too
laundry.
busy.
We were so busy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We like pull out the laundry. Okay, that we're going to wear. That we're going to wear. Yeah.
That's funny. So I think that's funny because I hate packing, and I pack like the last second I can before I go.
Yeah.
That's how I pack.
Yeah.
And I'll just go and I'll put like, I just need extra underwear, extra socks, then t-shirts, jeans, one pair of shoes, and then toiletries. Just grab everything that I'm done using,
Put it
in the bag.
Yeah.
Put it in the thing.
Yeah. And you don't pack the kids. Stafford packs the kids, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I did it, it would do
it would
so
be wrong.
wrong.
The wrong outfits, the wrong this. Yeah. Yeah.
I've learned that the hard way.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes you help and then you just make more trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I might
More
as well
work.
just not do it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then she's also very orderly and conscientious and industrial from the 5, right? I can already see it where she's just always doing something, and I'm just there like.
Yeah. I mean, she's doing
What
stuff
is she
right now.
doing? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so scheduled opposed to spontaneous.
Yeah.
Organized versus flexible. Systematic versus casual. Methodical versus open-minded. Make short and long-term plans. Adapts, changes course. So I can change on a dime. Likes to have things decided. Likes things loose and open to change. Like I would prefer to go on a trip and then just what kind of restaurants are good in Florida, Miami, and then you're like, oh, okay, let's go to this place.
Let's do
What do
that.
I feel like today?
Yeah.
I don't want to say what I feel like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to know what I'm hungry for.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what if I feel like I want Thai food, or I want Chinese food, or I want Mexican food? And then that day, they're like, no, we're eating hamburgers, and I had a hamburger like 2 hours ago. I don't want to eat a damn hamburger just because it's a great hamburger place.
Oh.
Find last minute pressure energizing. That's interesting. And tries to avoid last minute stress. Like, okay, another thing about my wife. With about 8 hours of going on a trip, I start avoiding my wife because she gets like evil.
In the zone.
She gets evil.
She's in the zone.
And she's like, and I'm like, hey, where's, I don't know.
Handle it.
I'm like, shit. So then I'll just, whenever it's like we're getting to that time, I just give her space.
Yeah.
And I just do whatever it is that I'm going to be doing. You know what I mean? I just try and take care of things as I see them coming. You're like, are these bags ready to go outside? Yes. Okay.
Okay, I can
take
help.
them outside. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then after she gets in the car and we start driving, then it's like you see the continents change,
Yeah.
and it's all gone. And she's like, I was like, oh, hey, babe. She's like,
You're back.
I'm great. I'm so excited. Look at the sunset. It's great. You know
That's
what I
me
mean?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just learned to just give her space
Yeah.
and like, so she doesn't like rage on me. You know what I mean? God damn it! I don't know. I'm like, okay, babe, sorry. Like I just because like the whole time she's thinking, it's like, why don't you care about this as much as I care about it, right? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why God made me this.
I don't know, but this is how I am. My brain is just full of all the things, and then if you add more, I'm like, I can't. You need to handle that. If you can't handle it, I'll handle it later, but I'm done.
Okay, I think we knocked these out.
Yay!
Now, your point of view, because these are all new to you.
Yes.
Except for the 5 love languages. Oh, you did the ranking. Oh, that's great. So ENTJ is at the bottom, but that's not me. ENFJ, me and you are like rare. So 3.2%, and you're 2.5% of the population.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. We're super rare. Yeah, we already knew that.
We're gems.
That's why you guys are listening to us. All 5 of my followers. Actually, like and subscribe. Okay, so out of these types, I'm going to read through them. Give me like a number 1 of like your favorite, and give me 5. Like put them in order, if you can. So Greek, which is the temperaments. Kobe, which is super different. Did you ever listen to it all? Okay, you should do that.
Okay.
Because you'll get a lot more out of it once you listen to it. The Myers-Briggs, the Jordan Peterson 5 personalities, or the Big 5. And then the love languages, I don't even think we should put it in there because it's very different.
It is.
Yeah.
So I like Myers, number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like all the explanation, and it all resonated. I was like, yeah.
Like when we're doing it right
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, number 2. The Greek was number 4.
Okay.
What's the third one?
Kobe.
I like the Kobe too.
Kobe's different.
Yeah.
Kobe's so different. I prefer Kobe for people that I'm hiring just because I feel like I can understand where they're from. But the interesting thing about Kobe is I would probably do Kobe and the Big 5 at the same time. And I'd be like, ooh, this would be like a double time. I would know exactly who this employee is. Like I would know if they're smart, and then I would know if they're dutiful. Yeah. And then I would know if they're in that personality range. Like honestly, I'd like him to take all of them, but the Greek is not one. Greek, I could just pick it out. Yeah. But it's fascinating. Yeah, mine, I probably would say what made the biggest difference for me. I still love the Kobe. I love the Kobe. Just helped me so much in my work life because I understood where I should be. So if you're really struggling with like what you should be doing in life, like work wise, the Kobe will help you to like the 5 personalities and then the Myers-Briggs. Like they're so broad that you can't really narrow in exactly what you need to do in life. But the Kobe it narrows a lot of it so that you can actually use. So I would take Kobe and then probably the Big 5 and then the Greek and then Myers-Briggs. Even though I like Myers-Briggs, I don't like it as much as a lot of people do.
I didn't think it was going to get me right. Yeah. The questions were weird and I was like, well, I don't know. As I was doing it, it just didn't feel right, but it got me.
Yeah, they've got it.
Yeah, they've got it down, and the workbooks, all that. That's cool.
And we're running out of time, but what's the goal of this show? What are we gonna talk about?
I think you talk a lot about the importance of men and masculinity, and I think that's something that is lacking in true, honest conversation. And you have to have those true, honest convos to get somewhere and to
I agree.
Be real. We love conspiracy theories. Yay! So we're going to talk about conspiracy theories. Yeah.
Alex Jones was right.
Yes, Alex. The frogs. making the frogs gay.
Making the frogs gay.
And then all the things that are going on right now in like society, in life, in like potential war that's happening, being prepared. I've been a prepper since 2017, so I've gotten like food storage down and stuff like that.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, because I think that's important for people. Like when I talk to people about it, they look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah. But then like
that's when you know you're onto something.
Yeah, if shit hits the fan, like when COVID hit, I didn't have to go grocery shopping for 6 months. So we weren't in the stores fighting for water and toilet paper because we had plenty, So I think it's important. What about you?
Yeah, I think 100%. Like the goals was talking about, I want to talk to men. Like that's God put it on my heart. It was more about me going through my own journey of masculinity and trying to find myself and to find that true core strength and be like, okay, where is that from and why is it that I didn't have it, and then how can I develop it, and I'm still on that journey. Also a big thing was about like I'd like to talk about things that I could leave as like a training manual for my kids.
Yes.
So if my kids watch this, what would they get out of it? Would they learn something? Would they have something actionable? You know, like things like if I died, like if my kids watch this, would they gain something out of it? Like that's kind of like in the back of my mind as I thought about creating this, and I've always wanted to do that.
I love that.
And I could do both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then for sure, current events, and then my mind of conspiracy. So I kind of was brought up in conspiracy theories. Like I remember going to like some guy's trailer in like Montana Vista to watch a video of like that he got from somewhere, and it was about end times. You know what I mean? And my dad was there, and he was all interested.
So your dad brought you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm like imagining you a kid just like in a trailer, like, what are you doing?
And he's like there taking notes, and I like, you know, and he kind of was in that thing, you know. And then also I think it lends my conspiracy mind was kind of there because we were like super Christian, so like we would like stay out of mainstream things, and like that was the devil, you know what I mean? So you kind of were like this like anti-culture brought up, right? So like Halloween, like I've never celebrated Halloween.
Yes. And
like we would turn off the lights, you know, and like go to the movies or something.
Yeah.
And like people would come to us, like, we'd be like, no, we don't celebrate Halloween. You want to hear about Jesus? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like,
yes.
And they're like, no, just give me candy, you bastard. You know
We just want candy.
Yeah, and like just things like that.
Yeah.
So my mom was brought up, raised Jehovah's Witness, and she was even more outside of culture. So when she converted to Christianity, she got like discommunicated, disfellowshipped. She wasn't allowed back in her parents' house, and so we kind of learned that, you know, and like this. My mom kind of brought us up with this idea of like not letting people manipulate your mind. You know what I mean? Where she understood what a cult was like.
Yeah.
So we were very much anti like letting people manipulate your mind.
You, yeah.
You know? So that's kind of where it lended to a lot of this idea of the conspiracy, right? And my dad's very creative, so he kind of likes that stuff. And a lot of his friends are all into that stuff. So I just kind of grew up with all of that. Yeah. So it's funny when people are like, they talk about like Alex Jones, right? Like Alex Jones, this crazy guy, right? Yeah. And I'm like, Alex Jones is like the second iteration of like a big conspiracy theorist guy. Where like the first one, you like talk about like William Cooper, you talk about like Fritz Springmeier, you talk about like John Todd, and these guys that like John Todd used to go with a record player to churches and play, and he would play like these. He would sell these records, and it was like all about like the Federal Reserve is not federal, nor has any reserves. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, talking about the Illuminati before anybody even heard about these things. Yeah. You're talking about like on records. Yeah. Like it's crazy to even think about, right? So he's an OG. Yeah, he's dead. They killed him. They killed William Cooper, and Fritz Springmeier went to prison. Fritz Springmeier, he's the one that wrote the 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati. This big, huge book. And then you have William Cooper, which wrote probably the most famous conspiracy theorist book of all time, which is Behold the Pale Horse. You've heard of that book?
Yes, you told me about it.
Yeah, okay.
I bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a crazy book. The guy's out there, and he's like, what do they call them? An intelligence officer for the Navy. And so Paul Todd was kind of more. He was an ex-witch, high-level witch. He was a third-generation witch. Whoa. And he talks all about witchcraft and how witchcraft is tied into the Illuminati and how the Illuminati is tied into popular culture, music, Hollywood, all that stuff. That's what he was talking about.
Wow.
Way back then, right? And how it works, and how they put spells in music, and how they put spells in books, and how they
Oh my God.
and how they manipulate people, and how musicians use drugs and witchcraft to get inspired to write musics and lyrics and all that kind of stuff, like real crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like a huge prepper too. He was trying to get people to prep back then, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so I'm like in all of that stuff. And then I grew up like super Christian. So like I still go to church. I'm still a big believer. I still study. So I know all of like, I'm not like a theologian or something, but I know my scripture. So I can defend it. Like, and you'll see me throw in different scriptures as we were talking, because it just, those neural pathways are connected. So when I hear things, it's like, it's kind of like a spiral of information, and those, you know, kind of like that. Like my favorite GIF is like that crazy conspiracy theory guy with has like a pin in the wall with like strings, and there's like he's there smoking a cigarette, and he's like
Calculating trying to figure it out. Yes.
He's like, I know it all makes sense now.
Yes.
All right, but that's pretty much what I wanted to do.
Yes.
So it's like I want to do everything.
Yeah. Same.
We're both broad, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just see how it goes.
Red circle.
The red circle. So the idea of the red circle is kind of built around like obviously the red pill.
The red pill.
Right? So you have a red pill, and then the red circle is kind of like loading, and then also it could be translated to somewhat of like it hypnotizing you, right? So like the mainstream media is like hypnotizing you into lulling you into the zombies, right? So like if you see zombie movies, the way it's funny, I watch movies and everything, and I interpret them very differently.
Yes. Yeah.
So like I'll see it like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So The Walking Dead, all those zombies are all the people that are asleep, right? And it's funny because we used that terminology before woke people used it. So when we said woke, like I'm awake or I'm woke, it meant that I'm awake to the conspiracy or to what's happening to me.
Yeah.
But now they hijacked my terminology. So now it's like woke is like negative, liberal, progressive nonsense. But woke means you were just like, oh, you took the red pill and you woke up.
Yeah. You can see what's going on now.
So like everybody that's like the heroes in The Walking Dead are just people that are awake, and all of the zombies are the people that are stuck in the system and they can't think for themselves, and they're trying to force you into their idea of thinking. Kind of like what we were talking about before, where if you step out, your friends, your family will try and bring you back down.
Yeah.
The best example of that is this. So if you take a cup, you put ice cold water in here, right? And then the outside will get this water on the outside, right? It'll start going there. Most people don't know what that is or why it's happening. And what it is the oxygen in the air is warmer than the oxygen in the water, right? So what it does is it attaches itself to the side of it to try and bring the temperature of this water to the same temperature of the room. And over time it will, right? So it'll bring it back down, and it'll be the same temperature in this water as it is in the air. And that's the same thing that happens in society, is that your friends, your family will see that you're either heating up or cooling down, and they're like, no, this is not, you're not normal, come back, don't think outside of the box. And that's all it is. It's a natural tendency. So when people do that to you, don't take offense, because it's just their natural state.
Yeah.
They want it's like water will find flat, even land. And it'll do everything it can to try and find this equal land.
Equilibrium, homeostasis, everything
So when you're going against that grain, you find out that everything in the world will fight against you to do so. It's kind of like going to the gym. So when you first start going to the gym, everything in your life will fight you from going to the gym.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
or reading your Bible. Like,
Yeah.
you start reading your Bible, everything in your life will stop you from reading your Bible.
A million% yes.
Or praying. You want to start praying, everything in your world will stop you from praying. Your phone will ring, emergencies will happen, you'll get sick. And I think it's the great conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So the great conspiracy of all conspiracies is what happened in the Garden of Eden. And it was the devil taking the authority, the power, the love of God away from mankind. Mm-hmm. And if he took it away and he held it, right? And so we became eternally separated from God. Mm-hmm. And that's the same major conspiracy that's going on today.
Yeah.
Forever it will go on until, the end of Armageddon. But that's the great conspiracy.
Yeah.
And you can see society, people. It's kind of like the Matrix, where the agents will go inside other random people, and then use them to attack the people that are awake. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that happens.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yay. Good episode.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments if you guys have any suggestions or other things that you guys want us to talk about. Let us know. I'm excited.
Yeah, the red circle.
Red circle. Bye, guys.